You got hurt in a car accident weeks ago, maybe months ago, and now you're wondering, is it too late to do anything about it? You've been juggling medical treatment, going to doctor visits, insurance calls, missed time from work, and each day that passes, you feel more and more unsure about your rights. And here's the truth. In Georgia, if you miss the deadline to file, you lose your chance at any recovery, no matter how injured you are. Hi, I'm Ted Spaulding. I'm a personal injury trial attorney here in Georgia, and I'm going to walk you through exactly how long you have to file in a personal injury case. And I'm going to explain why waiting too long can destroy your case. So you know what your rights are, you can take action quickly and on time, and you don't get shut out of the compensation that you deserve just because no one told you that the clock is ticking. Let's get right into it. If you've been in a car accident in Georgia, the clock starts ticking the moment the wreck occurs. And the truth is, a lot of folks wait way too long to begin the process in hopes that things will work out, that the insurance company will do the right thing. I've seen way too many people lose the chance at recovery, anything, no matter how serious their injury is, just because they weren't aware that the clock was ticking and what their deadline was. So let's talk plainly about how long you have to file a claim in a lawsuit in a car accident in Georgia, what that deadline actually is, and what may change it. And then I'll tell you what the steps are that you should take to protect yourself before it's too late. I'll also share a couple of stories with you of what can go wrong if you wait too long and what can go right when you act quickly and protect your rights. I'll cover some special situations that can give you a little more or a lot less time to pursue your case. Here's the big one. In Georgia, you have 2 years to file a lawsuit in a car accident case before you forever lose your rights. This is what is called the statute of limitation. It's strict. If you file even one day past the statute of limitations, you will lose your case. The court will almost always kick it out. That's true even if you have broken bones, mounting medical expenses, and you're clearly not at fault. Now, let's be clear. This is the 2-year deadline that applies to an injury claim. That means your physical and emotional damages, your medical expenses, any lost wages that you may have because of the car wreck and the injuries that you suffered. Most car accident cases are personal injury claims, whether you're the driver, the passenger, or even a pedestrian that is hit by a vehicle. So let's say that your car wreck occurred June 15, 2024. If you want to sue for your injuries, you've got until June 15, 2026. After that, your right to sue is gone. No judge in Georgia is going to give you an exception just because you didn't know what the deadline was or because things were really hectic because of your injuries. The law is what it is. It is severe. But what if you just want your car fixed or you're dealing with damage to other property, personal or otherwise, and you don't have any injuries? Georgia gives you a little bit more time. For property damage claims, you have 4 years to file a lawsuit before you lose your rights. But remember, this deadline only covers the property damage claim, not your physical injuries. If you need compensation for both, you need to treat both deadlines as separate cases. And here's a common misconception. Just because the insurance company is still dealing with you and talking with you, that does not extend the deadline either on the property damage or on your personal injury claim. So it's not when the accident was discovered in the sense of your damages, it's when the accident occurred. So think of it this way. You have a car wreck on May 1st, 2024, and you're wanting to pursue only property damage. You have until May 1st, 2028 to file a property damage lawsuit before you lose your rights. But remember, that only covers the property damage, does not cover your personal injury. The 2-year personal injury statute limitation still applies to that other part of your case. So be very, very careful. Now, you might be wondering, when does the clock actually start to tick? The 2-year one for personal injuries or the 4-year one for property damage claims? Well, almost every single time, that clock will start ticking on the day of the wreck, not when you either discover your injuries or medical bills start to pile up or you start to have lost wages. It starts the day of the wreck, and so it's the anniversary of the wreck, 2-year anniversary or 4-year anniversary of the wreck. So let's say you were hit in December 1, 2023. Your deadline is December 1, 2025 for your personal injury case. You don't wait for other people to figure things out for you. You have to follow that deadline. The clock doesn't care whether you know what the deadline is or you're needing to get other people to help you. You have got to file that claim on time, well before the statute actually runs, in my opinion. Now, there are a few situations where the standard 2-year limit can be paused or extended. And here are the ones that come up the most in my practice. The first one is when you have a claim against a government entity. So if a government vehicle, a police car, a garbage truck, a city bus is at fault in the wreck and causes you injuries. Maybe it's the state or the county because of poor road conditions or one of their vehicles. The timeline is much, much shorter, actually. Why? Because there's a thing called ante litem notice in the law that is required first, and it's a very short deadline to get this proper document served on the government to notify them of your claim, or you forever lose your rights. So how does that work? With the city, it is only 6 months. You must file your ante litem notice with the city and it be done properly within the first 6 months after the accident, or you will forever lose your rights. With the county or the state, it's a little bit longer. It's 1 year to file this ante litem notice. So let me give you an example. I had a client once that was hit by a city garbage truck, and he naturally tried to handle it on his own. He thought rightly that he had 2 years to file a lawsuit, so he had plenty of time to try to handle it on his own. Didn't work out. He reaches out to me 8 months after the accident occurred. First thing I ask him, did you file the ante litem notice that you had to file? What? What are you talking about? He didn't know what an ante litem notice was, and understandably so. He was too late. He still had the 2 years to file the lawsuit, but he didn't do the first requirement against a government entity, which is the ante litem notice. So the 2 years goes away. He has no case. I couldn't take it on for him. So you got to be really, really careful with government entities. Get with an attorney early to make sure you don't miss this unique deadline that's kind of tied to your ultimate statute of limitation in the case. The next unique situation is minors. So let's say a 16-year-old is in a car wreck. What happens here is the 2-year statute of limitations is paused until the minor turns 18. Then the clock starts to tick from there. So you have until your 20th birthday when you are a minor to file your lawsuit for your injuries. So again, if you're under 18, it does not start until you turn 18. If you're very, very young, you have a tremendous amount of time, therefore. Now, you got to be careful because what ends up happening here is medical expenses are the claim of the parents if they're paying for it, their health insurance or out of pocket. The statute of limitations does not stop or is paused for that claim. So it's still a 2-year statute of limitations for the parents to pursue their medical expenses. Got to be very careful on that. Otherwise, the minor then can pursue only their pain and suffering claim in the future under that paused statute of limitation. Now, the same kind of pause can occur if there's mental incompetency. This is a very unique area, and the court may temporarily stop the clock until the person is able to manage their own legal affairs. Now, if they were always mentally incompetent, the clock may not stop. So you got to be very careful with this one as well. If tragedy strikes and someone dies as a result of a car accident, the deadline usually is still 2 years, and it's oftentimes 2 years from the date of death, not the car accident. accident. Be careful here, though. Sometimes there's other factors that can affect this timeline, especially if there's like a criminal case going on. They may toll or stop the statute of limitations from running until the criminal case is resolved. This is an area where it's absolutely vital to talk to an attorney early on so you know exactly what the deadline is in a wrongful death claim after a car accident. So I get it. After a car accident, you might be overwhelmed. You're dealing with medical treatment, doctor visits, you've got medical bills piling up, you've got to deal with the repairs or the total loss of your vehicle, you're missing time from work. It's a lot, but I cannot stress enough that waiting until the last minute is always risky. And here's why. First, evidence disappears. It goes away very quickly. Witnesses forget. They move away. They're no longer using the same phone number, so you can't find them. Video is deleted very quickly, within first 30 days oftentimes. The longer you wait, the harder it is to gather evidence that might be crucial in your case. For example, I once handled a case where there was only traffic camera footage. They kept it around for 30 days, and we didn't get the case until 4 months into the wreck. Went to find that camera footage. Sure enough, they said they had it. Wasn't there anymore. It got taped over. You've got to be very quick with gathering evidence. Be very careful. You have 2 years to file, but you're not going to have 2 years to gather evidence. You don't know how important that might end up being to prove your case. The next one is insurance companies stall. You need to be very careful. Remember, you are not going to get extra time because the insurance company was still talking to you. And certainly once you start to approach a statute of limitation, they're going to try to play gotcha. All of a sudden you can't get in contact with them. They start changing adjusters on you constantly. They're dragging it out, hoping you don't realize your statute of limitations may be running out. Do not let them stall you out past your statute of limitations. Be very careful. The other is unexpected delays. Getting your medical records and bills take quite a while nowadays, 30 to 60 to 90 days at very least, and there's always that one that takes even longer and is a struggle to get. Police reports take longer and longer now. Getting body cam footage, those sorts of things. Getting all the documents you need takes weeks or months. You might think you've got plenty of time, but those weeks, they slip away fast before you even know it. So what should you do if you've been in a car accident in Georgia and you want to protect your rights? Well, let me give you some of my advice. So first, get the medical treatment you need immediately. Even if you think you're fine, you don't know what's going to happen in the days and weeks down the road. See a doctor day 1 or day 2 at the very least. Document what is feeling weird and have them give you some medication. Then see where it goes from there and do your follow-up treatment. You want to obviously report the accident. If it's over $500 of property damage, you're required to report the accident to the police and have them come out. Please do this. It's the best way to document who's at fault from an independent third party, again, who has the expertise. They know how to investigate and properly document who's at fault. And gather all the evidence you can as quickly as possible. Take all the photographs, video of the scene, video of the at-fault party, talking with them. Is there camera footage? Are you close to businesses? You want to start to gather all this. Witnesses, get all their contact information. Follow up with them. Make sure that they stay around. You know what they're going to say. And notify your insurance company. You've got to do it within 90 days, but you need to do it much sooner. You don't know whether you're going to need to use your insurance. Get with them early. You have to report it to them. Do it. Don't delay. And then obviously talk with an attorney early. Don't wait. Don't wait until it's almost time to file a lawsuit, certainly, and don't wait months and months where evidence can go away. It's always smarter to sit down with an attorney early. You don't necessarily have to hire them. They'll give you advice, and then you can make an informed decision based off of that advice on whether you need to hire them now or give it some time. But have that initial conversation with an attorney, preferably within the first week. It's vitally important. I want to share two quick stories with you from past cases that I have to show and highlight the difference between when you act early and when you wait. So the first one is Amanda. She is a teacher from Marietta. She was in a car wreck by a distracted driver, and she called my office the very next day, and we got started right away. And sure enough, we were able to pull security footage but from a nearby business that became vital to her case because there was a liability dispute, meaning who's at fault. The other party swore they were not at fault. Video footage proved it and proved it quickly. We were also able to get with several witnesses that, while their memories were still fresh within the first couple of weeks, got their recorded statements so that we could have it preserved. That, in combination with the security footage, pushed this case forward very, very quickly. And because of her injuries, we were able to get her medical records quickly while they were fresh, and we were able to resolve her case for policy limits very, very quickly after we gathered this information upon our hiring. Let me tell you about the other side of the coin. John, he was a contractor from Atlanta. He was in a car wreck and he thought he was fine afterwards, so he waited almost 2 years to call my office. He trusted that the insurance company was going to work with him. They had handled the property damage claim, so he thought that would be similar with the personal injury side. Well, by the time he got to us, security footage was gone. The witnesses, their contact information wasn't correct anymore. We could not get with any of them. And the insurance company simply stopped talking to him, dragging it out past the deadline. There was simply nothing we could do for John, and he would have had a good case otherwise. But he waited till almost the end of the deadline, and we did not have enough time, and things were already gone. We could not help him. You don't want this kind of thing to happen to you. Here's the simple truth. In Georgia, you have 2 years to file an injury claim or lawsuit and 4 years to file a claim or lawsuit on property damage. If you miss these deadlines, you lose your right to any recovery 99.9% of the time. That's why acting quickly is so important, so you can move forward and make things right after a crash. If you're feeling unsure, don't wait to get things done. Get with an attorney early on to get the help you need, to get clear advice, to know what the deadline is in your specific situation, so you then can make an informed decision. Do I need to go forward with full-blown representation by an attorney, or can I handle it on my own, knowing exactly what my deadlines are and what I need to do to have an action plan? We just covered the real deadlines for filing a car accident claim in Georgia, why those deadlines matter, what can make them longer or shorter, and what you can do to make sure you don't miss your chance. If you want to stay a step ahead and avoid losing what you're owed, you need to check out our next video. How long do I have to bring a claim after a truck accident? There are special rules and even tighter deadlines that can trip people up, and you do not want to be caught off guard in these cases. Click over to that video now to make sure that you're fully protected after a truck crash. I'll see you over there.